Welcome to Ego's Concept Learning Room. In this video, we are looking at biology for grade 10s. And the topic we want to look at is photosynthesis. So before we begin, before you do anything, remember, if you are watching for the first time under this channel, please subscribe. If you haven't liked our Facebook page yet, please like us on our Facebook page at Ego's Concept Academy. All right, so one of these days, I was looking at some questions that they bring in the past papers. I came across this interesting question in Biology Paper 2, Section B and Question 7, and this is 2018. This is the question that I came across. So the question was asking me to describe the mechanism involved in the movement of water molecules from the soil up to the leaves in plants. Then B, describe the use of water in plants. Then C, explain how a leaf is adapted to prevention of excessive water loss. And now this got me thinking, so I decided, let me give a summarized and interesting tutorial on photosynthesis. So I begin. What is photosynthesis? Photosynthesis is simply the process by which green plants absorb the sun's light and use it to convert water and carbon dioxide into glucose and oxygen. Please note that we are saying photosynthesis is simply the process by which green plants use the sun's energy to convert water and carbon dioxide into glucose and oxygen. All right, we don't want to hear the babyish definitions of just saying is the process by which green plants manufacture their own foods. No, this definition should be comprehensive such that you can even successfully write a word equation just using the definition. Let's see what we're talking about. So the reaction equation can either be a word equation which is written as carbon dioxide plus water is equal to, then you need sunlight and chlorophyll to produce glucose and oxygen, which is exactly what is in the definition. Now, as an elderly person who is about to complete their secondary school, you also need to know about the chemical equation. So the chemical equation is simply written like this. 6 molecules of carbon dioxide reacting with 6 molecules of water, this will produce glucose and 6 molecules of what? Oxygen. All right, photosynthesis is carried out in the leaf and by the leaf. Now, what are the requirements for photosynthesis? So here are the 4 major conditions that are needed for photosynthesis to take place. If one of these is missing, then photosynthesis cannot take place. Now, the first one is carbon dioxide. Carbon dioxide is the one that is mixed with the hydrogen from the water to form the glucose. Then the chlorophyll, that's why it is only the green plants that are able to photosynthesize. Now, the function of the chlorophyll is simply to trap the sun's light. Then the sunlight is the one that provides the energy for the chemical reaction of photosynthesis. And the water is the one that splits up to produce oxygen and the hydrogen. All right, since we are saying photosynthesis is carried out in the leaf and by the leaf, let's look at some of the external structures of the leaf. All right, so this is our leaf here, and we can look at the external structures. Here we have the tip. Okay, so here we have what we are calling the tip. The next here we are having what we are calling the mid rib. Okay, the next here we have what we are calling the margin. Okay, so we have the leaf margin. The next we have the vein. Okay, then here at the bottom we have the petiole. So this is the petiole, and here we now have the lamina. So this is simply called lamina. All right, so these are the various parts, and each part is important. So for example, they can ask you, what are some of the structures that make this leaf to be adaptable, to be able to carry out the function of photosynthesis? So I'll begin. Number one, I'll say that it has the veins. So these leaf veins, they help to support the leaf. Okay, they provide structural support to the leaf. Okay, and by so doing, they also allow the water and the mineral salts to move in them, and the water is supplied to the rest of the leaf through these veins. Okay, we have the lamina. Now the lamina provides a large surface area for the absorption of what? Of carbon dioxide. Okay, we also have the petiole here. The petiole is the one that is connected to the main tree trunk, and from the main tree trunk, the water will move into the leaf via the what? The petiole. Okay, the leaf also has got something called the stomata. So there are some tiny openings right here that we cannot just see with our naked eyes, but with a microscope. So those are the ones also that allow what? Diffusion of gases to take place. All right, so those are some of the adaptations of the external structure of the leaf. In summary, we are saying, we are simply saying, let's see what we can conclude there. So we make a conclusion and we are saying a leaf has a large surface area to absorb more light. Then a leaf is thin. This gives it a short distance for efficient diffusion of carbon dioxide. Number 3, we are saying a leaf has chlorophyll. So the chlorophyll is the one that absorbs the sunlight. Then we're also saying it has the veins, the ones that offer support and transport for water and carbohydrates. Now carbohydrates, these are the manufactured what? Food. Number 5, we are saying a leaf has got what? Stomata. The stomatas are the pores that allow carbon dioxide to diffuse into the leaf and oxygen to diffuse out of the leaf. Okay? Let's now also look at the internal structure of the leaf. So the internal structure of the leaf will look something like this. Okay? So it has all these adaptations. To begin with, it has what we are calling the wax cuticle. So this wax cuticle here, it protects the plant against infection, and also just it also allows excessive loss of water without preventing sunlight from reaching the leaf. It also has some air space, and the guard cells, they work in conjunction with the guard cells here so that they can control the size of the stomata. So these they act like a doorway for opening and closing the stomata whenever need be. All right, so that is just one of the things. Then it has the spongy mesophyll. It also has the palisade mesophyll. Now the palisade, this is where we have a lot of what? A lot of chloroplasts. Now the chloroplasts are the ones that provide the chlorophyll. So the chloroplasts here, they are the ones that enables the chlorophyll to actually trap the light energy. All right, so in short, this is what we are saying here. We are saying they have the wax cuticle here to protect the leaf from infection and prevent water loss without blocking light. Then we are also saying it has the epidermis. Okay, the epidermis, it allows more light to reach the palisade cells. Then the palisade cell layer itself, it's to absorb more light and increase the rate of photosynthesis. We also have the spongy layer. Okay, finally we have the palisade cells containing many chloroplasts. All right, now let's look at the transport of water and minerals. Since we have said that during photosynthesis, water is needed. Now, where does this water come from? That is what we want to talk about. And also we need minerals for other purposes, such as the synthesis of what? Of the protein molecules. Now, where do they come from? So the simple answer is that they come from the soil. That's why we are saying plants need water to make food through the process of what? Photosynthesis. And the mineral salts are used for making what? Proteins. All right, so plants absorb water and minerals from the soil through the roots and transport it to other parts like the stem, leaves, flowers, and this is done through the xylem tissue. All right, let's look at this diagrammatic representation. So now the soil here, it contains more water compared to the cell here. Okay, so the root hair cells, these are the ones that grow into the soil. By now you know the roots, they contain the root hair cells. Now the cytoplasm of the root hair cell has got a little bit of some solution, some saltish solution like so. This solution here, it makes it that the water levels in the cytoplasm is lower, whereas the water levels in the soil is very high. Okay, so now because the water levels in the soil is very high, the water diffuses into the root hairs by the process called what? Osmosis. Now we know osmosis is the movement of water molecules from a region of high water potential to a region of lower water potential. So the water will move from the soil into the root, and once in the root hair cell, it will be moving from one cell to another, from one cell to another, all the way until it connects to the stem. Now, the root has got what we call a xylem, the root xylem. The stem also has got what we call the stem xylem. So these two are connected. So once connected, the water is able to be pushed into the what? Into the stem. Now, whilst in the stem, how does the water move? So in the stem here, the water will move by what we call the transpiration pool. Now, transpiration is simply the process by which water vapor, water is lost through the process of evaporation from the leaves. So now, as the water is being lost via the process of evaporation, it means that the pressure at the leaves, at the top of the plant there, it begins to be lowered. And because of the water that is coming at the bottom here, at the bottom the pressure is high. So diffusion will also take place. From where there is high pressure to a lower pressure. So the transpiration pool here, the force, the water as it is coming out, it will be pulling here, causing a transpiration pool. So that is how water will now eventually move to the leaves and other parts of the of the plant. All right, just in case you need to go through and understand what I was talking about, you can pause this section, read through and compare with the explanation, and then you proceed. All right, same applies to this one. We've also discussed it. Now, allow me to mention that as the water is moving, it carries along the minerals also. So as the water is moving, it carries along the what? The minerals. So water plus the minerals, they also undergo the same process. All right, let's continue. Now, we are saying the process of photosynthesis, it involves two stages. There is what we call the light and dark stage reactions. Now, what is the light stage reaction? So, the light stage reaction is simply the splitting of the water molecules into hydrogen and oxygen by light energy. So, the water molecule simply looks like this. By now, you should be having an idea of this one. So this one, during the light stage reaction, it is called the light stage reaction because to happen, it is the one that needs the light, which is light from the sun. So this one is going to split into hydrogen and oxygen. Okay, so you can tell now where the oxygen comes from. So this water is split into hydrogen and oxygen. All right, so the oxygen is expected to be given out and the hydrogen will proceed to the next stage, which is the dark stage reaction. All right, now what happens now? So this splitting of water into hydrogen and oxygen is what we call photolysis. Some people want to say photolysis, but I would call it photolysis. All right, so that is the splitting of the water. All right, now having finished this stage, we continue now. Where does the hydrogen go? So the hydrogen will proceed to the dark stage reaction. All right, so in the dark stage reaction, it takes place in the liquid stroma of the chloroplast. This is the combining. So now the hydrogen, it now combines with what? With carbon dioxide. So we are saying this hydrogen here, it will combine with carbon dioxide. So the hydrogen is going to combine with carbon dioxide, and this is what forms the C6H12, okay, C6H12O6. Okay, now we have seen where the hydrogen works. So the hydrogen produced in stage 1 comes to combine with the carbon dioxide here. Okay, once combined with carbon dioxide, it produces now the food. So this glucose here is what we call the food. And there we have our food, and the food has been produced. Now, how is the food transported in the plant? So the food which is prepared by the process of photosynthesis in the leaves of a plant has to be transported to other parts like the stem. Okay, it can go to the stem, the roots, the branches, as well as other parts of the plants that you might know of. So therefore, this food is transported to other parts through a kind of tube called what? The phloem. So the phloem is the one which is used to transport food. Remember, the xylem, it transports water and minerals. Then the phloem, it transports the manufactured what? Food. All right. So now the food is mostly the food from the leaves to other parts of the plant is called what? Translocation. So the movement of food, the transport of food from the leaves to other parts of a plant is called what? Translocation. So the food made by the leaves is in the form of simple sugars. All right. So we are saying phloem is present in all parts of the plant action. It is present in all parts of the plant. All right. So just for jogging our memory, this is how a phloem will look like. I'm sure we did this one when we're looking at specialized cells. So there is our companion cell, and there is our sieve plate. This is the main character that enables us to identify the what team, the phloem. So this is how it looks like. This is the guy that is responsible for the transportation of food, and the transportation of food from the place of manufacture to other parts of the plant is what we call translocation. All right. What is the mechanism of transport of food in a plant? Meaning, how does food get moving? All right. So the food made in the leaves of a plant is loaded into the sieve tubes of the phloem using the energy from ATP. Remember, the letters ATP simply means adenosine triphosphate. Then, by the process of osmosis, water will enter into the sieve tubes that contain sugar. So this raises the pressure in the phloem tissue. Then this high pressure produced in the phloem tissue moves the food to all other parts of the plant, having less pressure. In this way, food is transported. Remember, the law of life is that things will tend to move from a region of higher concentration to a region of lower concentration. So at the place where the food is being manufactured, at that place the food is a lot. So it has to move to a place where there is no food, because that's where there will be space for it. All right. Why should food be transported? So there are various reasons. To begin with, food is transported for energy. Okay. So why should food be transported? So that it can be used for energy. Now, this is within the plant. Okay. Then also for building its parts. The plant also needs food to build its other parts. Okay. Then for maintaining its life. Other substances like hormones made in the tips of the roots and shoots are also transported through the what? The phloem tubes. All right, so just take a pause and look at the gaseous exchange. Just take that pause and look at this gaseous exchange here. You might need it at some point, though it was already taught. Okay, we proceed. What is the fate of glucose formed in plants? Meaning, what happens to the glucose that is formed by plants? All right, some of it is used for respiration. Look out for the video on respiration. Some of it is converted to cellulose and becomes part of the cell wall. That's why we call it the cellulose cell wall. Some of it is combined with nitrogen and is used to synthesize amino acids. Some of it is converted to sucrose in order to be transported. Some of it is converted to fats and oils. All right. Lastly, but not the least, some of it is converted to nucleic acids, and the excess is converted to starch for storage. Okay, now what are the storage organs of plants? What are the storage organs of plants? The food manufactured by plants is normally converted to starch and oils for storage. So oils are mainly stored in seeds, e.g. groundnuts and sunflower. So starch is stored in a range of modified plant organs, some of it which is as discussed below. So the root tubers, the fibrous roots swollen with stored food, e.g. sweet potatoes. So those are the root tubers. Okay. Then we also have the stem tubers. In Zambia here we have the misale from Nakambala sugar there. That is an example of the stem tuber. We eat those misales because they are nice. Okay. Then we can also talk about the bulb, like for onion, right? That is a way in which plants store their own food. All right, then we have also what we call a rhizome. Okay, this is a swollen underground horizontal stem like ginger. All right, we also have corn. We are talking about some corn. I'm sure you all know what corn is in Zambia. Anyway, they've got funny names, but hopefully one of these days we'll show you what corn is. All right, then we have seeds. Okay, now let's give a summary on the transport of food and water in plants. I know someone is thinking now, how about those questions we read at the beginning? Don't worry, I'll demonstrate on how to answer those questions. All right, let's just summarize the topic first. So now, this is how the transport is done. All right, so here is xylem tissue that carries water and dissolved minerals up from the root. that it goes. Then also we have the leaf here. As you can see, this is a leaf. The leaf will make the food. Okay, so the food will be moving from where it is manufactured to other parts of the plant. Okay, the water is going up, then the food is going down. So it is just the opposite there. So that is really what happens. So we have the phloem tissue there that carry food up from the leaf. Then we have also something, the phloem tissue, that carry food down the leaf. So it carries the food everywhere. All right. We talk about the transpiration here. So this transpiration, that is the evaporation of water from the leaves, and this will create a transpiration pool. This is the one that is pulling the water from here. Okay, pulling the water from there. All right. Now, what is the importance of photosynthesis? So, apart from making food for plants to survive, photosynthesis is an important part of the life cycle of all living organisms. Okay, as most fauna, now fauna is simply animal life, requires oxygen to survive. Okay, now we all require oxygen, and the oxygen, most of it comes from the what? From the plants, and that is why oxygen is part and parcel of the what? The cycle. So we produce the carbon dioxide, then plants give us the what? The oxygen. So it is very important in that way. So please look at the way I'm phrasing things, and you should be able to answer in the exam. All right. Suggested answers to 2018 paper 2 section B question 7. So they are in order. Now look at the way I've written section B type questions. They are essay type questions. Now when you're writing essay type questions, please connect ideas. You are not listing, no paragraphs, please. No bulleting. You have to write paragraphs. I repeat, no bulleting. You don't list in there. Even if you are listing things, list them in paragraph form. Let your conjunctions work. You use the joining words to join the various points that you have. That is how you answer questions. So please take time to look at this question. Now here the first one was asking us to describe the mechanisms that are involved in the movement of water from the roots all the way up, from the soil all the way up to the leaves. So here we are saying the soil contains a high water potential than the root hair cells. Hence, the water from the soil is absorbed by the roots via the process of what? Osmosis. So once in the root hair cells, water passes from cell to cell and reaches epidermis, root cortex, endodermis, and the root xylem. So the xylem vessels of the root are connected with the xylem vessels of the stem of the plant. So the water enters from the root xylem vessel to the stem xylem vessel. Now, the pressure at the top of the plant in the leaves is low, whereas the pressure at the bottom of the plant is high due to transpiration. So transpiration builds a force that pulls the water up the plant. The transpiration pull finally causes the water to reach the leaf via the petiole. Okay, so like we said, the petiole will connect the leaf to the rest of the plant or of the tree. Okay, and via the petiole, water will now enter and it will finally reach the leaf. So please look at the way the English is phrased. Look at how all the important points are there. I know it's not about the English, so that's why I'm emphasizing. Make sure the main points are there, the biological terms are there, but your English should also be correct. Okay, B. Various functions of water include, look at the functions: maintaining cell turgidity for structural and growth, transporting nutrients and organic compounds throughout the plant, comprising much of the living protoplasm in the cells, saving. You see, I'm listing here, but they are in a paragraph form. So make sure they are in a paragraph form. All right, C. The epidermis cells of some plants eject a wax. Now, how is a plant, how is a leaf adapted to preventing excessive loss of water vapor? This is how the answer is supposed to be. So please take note. Here I've just highlighted the main keywords here. So here I've listed, there is this one, the wax cuticle, the leaf hairs, and the stomatas. So it is just these three that I've explained in here. So please take time to read through here, pause, read through, and see how questions are supposed to be answered. All right, now here is an exercise for you. So these are sample essay questions. Now this question here, it actually also came in the same in the same paper that we are talking about, paper 2 2018. Actually this is 2017 GCE, so this is 2017 GCE. Okay, So GCE paper 2, this is where it came. So explain how the internal parts of a leaf are adapted to carry out photosynthesis. So please get back to me. I want to see how you're going to connect the answers. The explanations have been what listed above there, but I want to see how you're going to connect those things. I see your English and I see your explanation. So at least I need 6 good reasons and their explanations so that you get the total 12 marks. All right, now there's also this one. Explain how the internal parts of how the external. So here it's external, here it's internal. That's the difference between the two questions. Then there's the third question which says, explain how a leaf is adapted. So this one is general. They are just how a leaf. So this is where now you can explain everything. Okay. So please, I'm trying to teach people on how to understand the questions. All right. Then question 4, you are simply going to explain how gaseous exchange in plants takes place. All right. Thank you for listening, and don't forget to be on the lookout for respiration. There's a video that is coming soon next week on respiration. So be on the lookout and learn more to prepare for your exams. Thank you so much. See you next time.